If you're a fan of bold and expressive art, come check out my Patreon. For just $1, you'll get exclusive access to artwork that I don't share anywhere else. Click the link in the video description to dive into my daring creations and unique artistic style. Texas is bracing for a political earthquake. A Republican-led plan to redraw the state's congressional districts is sparking outrage and accusations of blatant partisan manipulation. The proposal, aiming to secure 5 additional Republican seats in the 2026 elections, is plowing through legal niceties and established political norms with the force of a runaway bull. Democratic Representative Al Green, whose Houston area district is a prime target, vehemently denounced the plan as election theft, arguing it's a desperate attempt to circumvent fair electoral competition. This aggressive power grab unfolds just weeks after devastating floods claimed over 130 lives, leaving many questioning the legislature's priorities. Currently, Republicans hold 25 of Texas's 38 congressional districts, all but one with a white voting majority, each won by a significant margin. However, this dominance belies a narrower reality. Republicans secured only about 58% of the congressional vote last year. The 2018 midterms, a Democratic wave year, saw Republicans barely achieving 50% statewide, losing 2 seats, only to regain them in 2022 after a gerrymandered map that faced legal challenges. Texas's unique allowance for multiple redistricting efforts between decennial censuses, coupled with the Supreme Court's 2013 Shelby County v. Holder decision eliminating pre-clearance requirements under the Voting Rights Act, has created a fertile ground for this controversial maneuver. Sam Gostomski, executive director of the Texas Democratic Party, alleges the Republicans are willing to push through racially discriminatory maps, knowing the legal battles will delay any meaningful repercussions. This tactic, he argues, allows them to repeatedly gerrymander districts, exploiting the inherent time lag in legal challenges. With the expectation of a repeat of the 2018 Democratic wave, the White House is actively seeking ways to mitigate potential losses, a strategy that appears to align with former President Trump's recent boast of securing 5 additional seats in Texas, and several more across the nation through strategic redistricting. Texas Governor Greg Abbott has controversially incorporated this mid-cycle redistricting into a special legislative session ostensibly focused on disaster relief following the recent Austin floods. The lack of transparency surrounding the proposed maps has fueled further criticism. State Representative Barbara Gervin-Hawkins, a Democrat, highlights the complete absence of any publicly available map proposals, despite the impending public hearings on July 24. The motivation behind this move extends beyond simple political maneuvering, Gostomski argues. Republicans, he suggests, are unwilling to campaign in more competitive districts and are seemingly bowing to pressure from the White House. The lack of anticipation or even an attempt to understand what maps will be produced further strengthens the suspicion of party line influence. The Texas Democratic Party is furious. Gostomski personally recounts his post-flood efforts assisting flood victims, contrasting the immediate relief needs with the legislature's rapid shift to partisan politics. Gervin-Hawkins echoes this sentiment, condemning the prioritization of redistricting over essential disaster recovery efforts and characterizing the current actions as an atrocity. The proposed gerrymandered redistricting, aiming to boost Republican representation to 79% despite a likely decline in their overall vote share, would result in one of the most unfair maps in American history, earning an F rating on the Princeton Redistricting Report Card. Achieving Trump's projected 5-seat gain will necessitate taking considerable risks, potentially jeopardizing even existing Republican seats, particularly in an anticipated high-turnout midterm election. The proposed maps threaten to drastically alter the representation of Houston and its surrounding areas, a rapidly growing metropolis and the 4th-largest metropolitan area in the United States. Republican mapmakers are planning to divide the city into long, thin districts, separating Democratic voters in the city center from the surrounding Republican suburbs and rural counties. Several Democratic representatives, including Al Green, Lizzie Fletcher, Sylvia Garcia, and Sylvester Turner, are particularly vulnerable. Districts near Dallas and along the southern border are also likely to undergo significant changes, impacting representatives such as Vicente Gonzalez and Henry Cuellar. The strategy relies on assumptions about the voting behavior of suburban and Latino voters, assumptions that may prove unreliable, says Mike Doyle, chairman of the Harris County Democratic Party. He points out the state's notoriously low voter turnout, potentially influenced by deliberate efforts to restrict voting access. Despite the limited options available to Democrats considering the Republican-controlled state legislature, a strategy to disrupt the process by denying a quorum is being considered. Texas Democrats previously used this tactic 4 years ago to block voting rights legislation. While Texas Rangers could forcibly return fugitive lawmakers within state lines, escape to a neighboring state would offer protection from immediate apprehension, although significant fines are possible. A website, Stop the Texas Steal.com, has been launched to raise money and galvanize opposition, urging members to utilize all available tools, including quorum breaks, to pressure Abbott to focus on disaster relief instead of partisan power grabs. Gervin Hawkins acknowledges the difficulties inherent in such a move, but states the goal is clear: to protect democracy and the rights of the people of Texas. The battle over Texas's redistricting is far from over, and the stakes are exceptionally high. The outcome will not only reshape the state's political landscape but also set a precedent for future election cycles, potentially influencing the nation's political equilibrium.